Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Steelfur Scouts. These are the videos that I do to show off new games that I'm looking at, playing, demoing, learning, all those kind of stuff. The game we're looking at today is of course a Kickstarter, which is closing this Friday. So I'm uploading this video on Tuesday, so do get in there. Do go and take a look. You've only got 4 days to go until it closes, though it will probably be available after the Kickstarter. It is worth noting that it will take some time to go from Kickstarter to general availability, being able to buy not via Kickstarter. So if you like the look of this, do please get in. It is moderately priced, it is reasonably priced, and I have full confidence that the studio making this game will deliver. So let's talk first about the studio making the game. I have a simple rule for Kickstarter: I do not publicly endorse Kickstarters, typically, unless I am confident that the studio making the game will actually deliver a product at the end of the Kickstarter. And in this case, we're talking about a company called Pinebox Studios. Pinebox Studios bought a lot of the living card game and abandoned CCG IP from Alderac Entertainment Group, who owned what's it called? Is it Deadwood? I think it's Deadwood. They own 7th Sea. They own Legend of the Five Rings. Pinebox bought a lot of their IP and started making essentially expandable card games, which are known as living card games when they're made by Fantasy Flight Games. But these are essentially set card games where you buy all of the cards in expansions rather than buying them in booster packs with random elements. So you're going to buy all of the cards in one go. And those are cheaper, usually, because you don't have to have that random element. They also, let's be honest, don't necessarily get as many expansions, as many new cards, because they're not getting as much money. But there are pros and cons. If you buy this, you will get a huge set of cards. You will be able to do deck building within that. You will then be able to use that to make multiple decks for multiple factions. You won't have to worry about buying something else straight away, right? Okay? Will they deliver? Yes. Trust Pinebox. The guy who runs it's really good. He's made loads of games. He's successfully run lots of not huge games. They're not huge. You need to find a local community you're going to play this with, or play it with your friends. But if you do find that, you will find them to be rewarding, because they are it's basically a board game, but with the card game element of customizable decks, different factions, all those kind of things, basically, is the way to think about it. So yeah, they will deliver. They've been making games for years. They, really like this. This is set. So 7th Sea, I'm just going to put this video on because I think they can explain it better than I can.
The history of this city goes back 600 years. She's seen her share of ravages. Battles, fires, plagues, each conflict a cause of destruction, and a cause for creation. The city's a maze of tight alleyways that twist and turn. There's always more than one way to get where you need to go. She's a place where a dishonest man can earn an honest coin. A place where you can find a thing even before it's lost. And those who fall under her disfavor can find life very difficult. It's here, in the city of 5 Sails, where heroic sagas are born by deeds of might and action. By intrigue and fancy words. Where anyone can seize a city if they've got enough coin. Pinebox Entertainment is proud to present a new adventure for fans of narrative-driven tabletop experiences. An evolving card game set in Thea's most interesting city. 7th Sea, City of 5 Sails. A game of swashbuckling, sorcery, piracy, adventure, political intrigue, and skullduggery within the city, featuring key elements from the 7th Sea role-playing game, incorporated into a rich tabletop experience with an evolving, player-driven narrative. Players will engage in combat duels that go back and forth with impending damage. Riposte, parry, and thrust at your opponent with the assistance of risk cards and attachments to damage and eliminate opposing crew members and mercenaries. It's time to swashbuckle your way to power and stake your claim on the freest city in all of Thea. 7th Sea, City of 5 Sails, live on Kickstarter, October.
So what we've got here is essentially a very rich universe already made. There is a 7th Sea role-playing game. That IP exists, so there's a lot of depth to this universe if you really want to get into it. We are talking about a sort of magic and sorcery and gunpowder swashbuckling port city, where you're playing these different factions, really sort of rich with lore and backstory. There is also this idea that player decisions are going to swing how different story events go. So many of the old sort of LCGs and card games had this thing where story would affect how player choice would affect how the story went. So they're going to be doing this through their tournaments and things like that, to guide the story via player decision. In terms of the box, you get a base set, 300 cards, 2 of each faction card, 1 of each unique, lots of neutral cards to make different decks. Pinebox are quite good at making base sets that are both affordable but also contain a lot of cards. There are 5 different factions. I won't go through all of them, but basically they kind of hit multiple ethnicities, vibes. We've got African, European, Spanish. This is kind of like German, Russian, things like that. So there are a lot of different races and cultures captured in here. The gameplay itself seems fairly intuitive. There are locations around the city. You make a location deck, and you can control them. So you're going to move your characters into positions to control them and take advantage of them. And if you control 3 of the central locations, you win. You can defeat your opponent's leader in combat, assumingly they'll be hard to beat and there'll be people defending them. And, of course, you can gather renown. So there's kind of elements of things like Game of Thrones, the card game in here, where it's combat. There's also ways to win political victories and money victories. There's a whole dueling system that looks really interesting. And it's also available on TTS. This game sort of caught my eye because I really sort of dig the vibe. I really dig the aesthetic. I was provided with these Gen Con promo decks that we used to demo the game at Gen Con. You can kind of see the faction leaders for each of the decks. I haven't unfortunately had a chance to play it yet because these arrived a couple of weeks ago, which was just when I was starting my work trips. But it does look really fun. And I've had some friends who I really trust their opinion of review it, so the gameplay kind of seems really interesting. And the people I've seen who've played it so far seem to have had a really good time. You can see it was demoed at Gen Con. There were quite a few people playing it. There was already storyline implications. So if you're looking for a game that's like a good box, we'll say, a good one box game, which is swashbucklers, it's magic. This is definitely a good thing to back. If you're looking for, this kind of like, we'll say, intrigue, Game of Thrones LCG style game, where you're not just, attacking with creatures and things like that, where there are other more narrative elements that kind of fuel each game feeling a bit more different. And also, like, just if you want that CCG experience in this kind of universe, but without having to buy random packs and things like that, it's obviously a great decision. So definitely have a bit more of a look into 7th Sea. You still have, I think, a day or 2 to back this. So get in, watch the video, watch the demo videos, read a bit about the game, have a little of the first look. DM Armada did a good video. He always seems to do very good videos. Look at all the factions, see if any of them catch your eye. Personally, I could easily see myself playing sort of these guys, the more German style, and just having that
Cross. Supernatural.
Just that night vibe. I think that would be really fun. Yeah. So I fully recommend taking a look at this game. As always, if you haven't liked to subscribe to this video, please do. The majority of my content is flesh and blood based. However, I will say that we do also do videos where we look at new games that are on Kickstarter. We do also do videos on other games like Genesis. And, there are other card games that I cover if you are interested. So, if you want regular flesh and blood content, if you want regular updates on other interesting card games that are coming out, please do like and subscribe this channel. As always, all of your support and, following counts and means something to me. So thank you very much and have a great day.